wasn't sure about you, Mr.
Your brother,
Snow.
your humble servant, the Black Authority.
My neck.
Well, I ain't gonna make that
Greetings,
happen.
brothers and sisters from around the world. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And I wanted to take a few moments here to discuss with you about this Ebro Eminem situation and myself. Now, as you all know, I'm not a person who talks about entertainment or entertainers. I only talk about sports. I only talk about rankings or things like that. You can have all that, but if I can just be totally honest with you here, listening to grown men speak about who they think their favorite rapper is really strikes me as being about as mature as hearing grown men talk about who their favorite comic book character is. Is Spider-Man better than Superman? Is Batman better than Captain America? You know, it really strikes me as being on, you know, that level, quite honestly. It has about that much appeal to me, but, you know, do whatever you want to do there, that's fine, knock yourselves out. But what doesn't appeal to me on that level is when we are talking about the real life game of Monopoly, which is what we are living every day in Western society in a capitalist system. Because you see, we're talking about real money. We are talking about a real cultural legacy. And that is the part that offended me. For those of you who are unaware here, last week, now for those of you who are unaware, Ebro, DJ up there on Hot 97 out of New York, put up a post on Twitter about Eminem, in which he said, and I'm quoting him now, Eminem treats rap how black folks have had to treat life. Be 5 times better, work 5 times harder than everyone, and still not. So, in an absolutely reprehensible statement, Ebro is comparing Eminem to Eminem's work ethic to black people's condition. Think about that for a few moments. You just compared what you claim is Eminem's work ethic. First of all, how do you measure be 5 times better? What makes him 5 times better? Quote, 5 times better and work 5 times harder than everyone else. I can show you demonstrably where black people have to work 5 times harder, 10 times harder, just to get equal, not even respect, but compensation. Remember, Serena Williams is the best tennis player in the world, and yet she is routinely underpaid compared to other white women in the sport. White women like Maria Sharapova, who she routinely beat, and yet when it's time to hand out the money, the society gathers together and says, your superior performance means nothing. We are playing the game along racial lines. That's not black society. It is white society that has historically and routinely, still continuously to this day, says we play the game along racial lines. And it seems there's a lot of black folk who don't get that, particularly up there in that New York market, but I won't confine it to just there. But there's a lot of black folk who are eager to be the saps and the suckers and the hoes of the society. A society that is telling you when it's time to hand out the money, recognition, status, and everything else, we're playing along racial lines, and then niggas come up talking about, well, we don't want to do that. I mean, everybody deserves respect. We are playing against other people who are fighting us along ethnic and racial lines and have brainwashed subservient-minded cornball-ass niggas into sitting up here endorsing to the rest of us that there is no racial competition going on. That's the problem with Ebro, and I'm not going to get into his lineage. I'm not going to get into being mixed. I'm not going to make my statements based on that. I know some people have wanted to hear. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to make these arguments based upon his lineage. I'm going to make these arguments based upon the fact that in the current society in which we live, it is an established fact. This is not an opinion. This is not subjective. It is an established fact. White people reserve the greater part of the rewards for themselves. Even when black people are the ones who generate the profits, white folks say the lion's share will always go to us whether we earned it or not. So what I'm telling you is that it is simply insane and irrational of us to keep entering into arenas where we did all the work, we did all the building, and then we go look for the nearest white person that we can invite in so that they can walk away with all the benefits. You want to talk about being 5 times better and working 5 times harder? Working 5 times harder is being Africa Bambaataa. Working 5 times harder is being Kool Herc and Curtis Blow in the basements and in the parks and the house parties when there was no money to be made. That's working 5 times harder. And you're going to sit up here and put on the hair shirt and try to cry me a damn river because some privileged white male has shown up in the room with his cornball comedy skit, which is really what Eminem is. He's Adam Sandler or somebody else just making words that rhyme. Can't even say it's rapping. He's a rhymer. But let's just keep it real. You guys are really proving what I've always said about you gotta watch these old niggas. You gotta watch them because they sold their souls a long damn time ago. And now they're here to do their corporate master's bidding and to mislead everyone else. And I'm going to get to Rakim. I'm going to get to you too. I'm going to get to you too. Don't worry. Yours is coming here shortly. What is the problem with what Ebro said here? And for anybody else trying to co-sign Eminem, how is it you're off code? What is the problem? People, let me say this in no uncertain terms. Rap is a black man's game. Period. Rap music, you call it rap hip-hop, I don't get into the semantics of that. Rap is a black man's game. Rap is not an American thing. Rap was not created out of the American experience. Rap was created out of the black experience. No white person could live from now till eternity and create rap music. Ain't gonna happen. It specifically takes the black experience to create rap. The same way that it specifically took the black experience to create ragtime, to create jazz, to create the blues, to create R&B, to create rock and roll, to create rap. It took specifically the black experience to generate those things. Nobody else could have done it. And yes, if you're not black, you don't have that core essential ingredient that completes the formula. You don't have it. Being able to rhyme is not rapping. Possessing the cultural capital where you are speaking from the soul, which is why we call it soul music. You're speaking from the soul. You're speaking from your experience. You're not talking about some really shallow teenage thing. We're talking about deep cultural, social, societal roots here. And it's only the black experience that could give us that. No one else and nothing else was capable of doing so. That's why nothing else did it. And if we didn't create it, we'd still be sitting here without it existing. You don't get to be a rapper based on American credentials.
Hell no. Hell no.
You get to be certified as a rapper based upon your black credentials. Let us never forget that it was these same white record companies that were saying in the 80s when Run DMC and LL Cool J, and even as late as 1991, 92, they were saying that rap was a fad, that eventually it was going to burn out and go the way of disco. That's what they were saying. Even as records were going double and triple platinum, LL Cool J, NWA, Too Short, Ruthless Records, even as they were MC Hammer even. By the time Hammer, remember Hammer had that song, they said we wouldn't make it, the rap wouldn't last on this song, Let's Get It Started. Yeah, he was there for the whole time with them saying it's not going to make it, we don't need to put any major sponsorship, we don't need to pay anything, and the brothers were like, that's okay, we're going to get paid regardless, whether it's out of the trunk of a car or whether it's at the Sam Goodies, we're getting paid regardless. We built this from the soil. And once they realized their rap wasn't going to evaporate, or once they wanted to hedge their bets, they immediately began trying to infiltrate it with one of their own. That's where you get the Vanilla Ices from, but Vanilla Ice wasn't the only one. Vanilla Ice, Terry B, Everlast. We can go down the list. Vanilla Ice was far from the only one. Far from it. He was the biggest one at that time. I remember it was a black rapper, Chocolate, who wrote that, but that doesn't matter to these niggas. So now you have the whitewashing of history, where there were actually jackasses on my Twitter talking about Eminem was the first big rapper.
Huh?
He was the first one selling out arenas around the world. Now you gotta be something like 12 years old if you truly believe that Eminem, your frame of reference is Eminem was the first big rapper and the first one to sell out an arena. Your frame of reference, you must be about 12 or 15 years old. But what this tells you is that this is a fundamental failure by the old niggas like Ebro, the DJs. The DJs are supposed to be the gatekeepers. They are supposed to be the protectors of the realm. They're supposed to be the holders of the legacy, who say that this is what truly constitutes what rap is, because I've been there from the beginning. I've been there from its stride. This is what's legit. That's the purpose of the DJ. We don't really have that anymore, with the possible exception of Funkmaster Flex. We don't really have that anymore. Them old dudes from 20, 30 years ago, all of them done sold their damn souls. And they're repeating what the record labels and what the white corporations have told them. And the white corporations told them Eminem is the guy. And if you undermine his credibility, you better watch out.
Man.
He is the only wedge that we have, because Andre Young, i.e. Dr. Dre, expended all of his social capital and street credibility and dropped it all on this cornball from the Midwest. And if Dre wasn't willing to sacrifice his credibility for Eminem, we'd be talking about Eminem the same way that we talk about Terry B. That's what would have happened. Without Dre, there is no Eminem, because his, quote, rapping ability wasn't that significant. And the protectors of the realm have sold out the children.
Yeah.
So he can get a paycheck for himself.
Yeah.
They're telling them what their master said. Oh, you can't say it belongs to black people. You have to say this is an American thing, that this belongs to all Americans. Please remember, it was your white Americans who were condemning NWA and Public Enemy for saying fight the power and F the police.
This is just going to be a
this is not an American thing. It didn't come from America. It came from black people in America. It didn't come from America. This isn't something you can go down the street with your white neighbors and we both have the same frame of reference. What he's talking about and what you talking about are two separate damn things. When you're talking about the message, and when you're talking about NWA and the ghettos of America. That ain't like Eminem. Eminem talking about his mama's drug use and his own drug use. That's not a product of the American war on drugs. That's not a product of J. Edgar Hoover flooding the ghettos with drugs. He wasn't the target. Eminem and his mama and his girlfriend and the white trailer park people and their drug problems, those are self-inflicted wounds. Those are self-inflicted. You weren't the targets of the CIA and the FBI and Iran-Contra. You weren't targeted. Those are self-inflicted wounds. And you have a society that helped you. Black people were the targets of it. We're talking about whole communities and whole cities, not a damn trailer park where you went off on a self-indulgent drug binge. So to sit up here and attempt to compare those two, you gotta be out of your damn mind. His experience with drugs is nothing like black people's experience with drugs. There was no war on drugs in the trailer parks at 8 Mile. There were no police bashing in the front door with battering rams. There was no civil forfeiture. There were no groups of white folks gathered up at 2 in the morning and marched off like slaves on the chain gang to jail. There were no big, huge poster grids on the evening news showing a dozen white folk arrested for running meth. They decriminalized drugs when it was time to start arresting white folk. You don't hear Eminem saying anything about doing jail time or anybody he knows doing jail time because of drugs. He just talked about being messed up on drugs. Black folk are talking about communities decimated, a living police state, a prison industrial complex. He ain't saying a damn thing about that, Ebro. He's making up cornball nursery rhymes. That's Saturday Night Live satire. That is not the black experience. We're talking about going back to Marvin Gaye. We're talking about going back to Chuck Berry. We're talking about going back to the blues. We're talking about going all the way back. We're talking about going back to the American killing fields of slavery and the Negro 100s. That's where rap comes from. And for you to attempt to shamelessly project our experience on a white male who has zero connection to any of that, that tells me how pathetically and grossly ignorant most of these millennials are today, because the DJs who are supposed to make sure they had the proper cultural teaching haven't given them that. They're telling you being able to rhyme some words is the same as rapping. They're not telling these young people that there is a cultural legacy to rap that simply cannot be imitated nor duplicated. P. Diddy a few days ago was talking about how the Grammys don't respect black people. Well, let me drop something on you here. The reason that we can't get these young cats on code is because you old niggas keep selling us out every time you get a chance. The reason the Grammys don't get respect, Sean, is because black folk like you spent the last 25 years saying that rap is America's music, so that you could get next to J-Lo. You had a sexual agenda, and you were willing to sacrifice and leverage the rest of us and the cultural capital built up long before your raggedy ass ever came along, so that you could dangle a record career in front of J-Lo's face as your leverage to get her into bed. And it worked. The only thing that you're upset about or that you regret is that it didn't stick. But you did that so you could lay up with J-Lo, and then you want to be surprised when the people who you told them that it was their music, American music, that all of a sudden they want to erase you. Then you want to come in acting holier now and holler about what, quote, we created. Well, you wasn't saying that when you were trying to get next to J-Lo. It was everybody's music then. It was America's music when you wanted to get your vodka deal. It belonged to everybody. And then you want to act stupid when the folk who have practiced racism and white supremacy against you since 1441, once you told them, oh yeah, this music that we created, it's legitimate for you to be here too. Then when they knocked your ass out of the way, now you want to scream that they don't respect you. Because they were playing by racial rules like they've always done, and you figured that if you played dumb, that would get you a pass. And no, they just showed you it's the same old game we always play. As soon as you open that door and let us in a little bit, we are going to take it over and remove the rest of you. We're going to remove you black folk, and we are going to colonize this and rewrite it in our image. And you won't be a part of it. So we can't keep these young cats on code because the old niggas keep butt dancing and selling out everybody. Now these white kids, their elders are always on code. These old niggas are the first to go against the grain on black folk. Hey, you remember when Eminem first came out and he made that cornball ass song? Well, the first time that he actually talked about something that wasn't cornball, he was talking about black bees and hoes because a black female broke up with him. So as soon as you didn't do what he wanted, you was bees and hoes. Now, Ebro isn't educating you on that. But then again, he sold his soul a long time ago. But he's not educating you on that. Now, they've been sitting up here for days now talking about that phony-ass rape story about Kobe Bryant, which was bullcrap. What Eminem did, we got that on tape. We got documentation of what he said. They don't want to bring that up now, though. All of a sudden, people want to give that a pass. So when it comes to black people, everything can be used against you, even if it's false, forever. But if you're white, black folk run up and say, oh no, we don't need to do that. Even if the person is gentrifying you. But yeah, Eminem, when he first came out, that's how he hit the scene. And clearly Dre didn't care about that very much. That's a very damning commentary on you, Dre, by the way. Very damning commentary on you. But I want to guide your eyes to something different. When Eminem started making his rap videos, did Eminem put black women in them? Now, I talked about this years ago. Ebro ain't said nothing, but when Eminem got inside, did Eminem put black women in his videos? Oops, wait a minute, no. He started the whitewashing immediately. He brought in Jenna Jameson and a bunch of white women. So as soon as you let him on the inside, he did what colonizers do. But Ebro hasn't brought that up. Go ahead and go check over his videos, people. When he's laid up with him, he's got, but I forget which video it was in particular. It was one with a bunch of white women crawling all over him. And it was a video that Jenna Jameson was in. I talked about this years ago. Eminem ain't got nothing for black folk. You are something that he uses to legitimize himself so he can leverage that for white power. He's got nothing for black folk. Take a look at D12 and Slaughterhouse. Ain't nobody came up out of that except him. The only person you all can name is 50 Cent, and that was because of Dre. There is nobody who's a superstar today strictly because Eminem put them on. So don't even try it. Don't even try it. when being with Dre was worn out and he wanted to start something of his own or whatever, he went and found some black folk, but ultimately, what did they all tell you? Well, once we got there, Eminem didn't really promote us. We had to get whatever we got for ourselves. Remember that rant that Joe Budden went on last year when Eminem made that song dissing him? And Joe, what was it, last year or the year before last?
Year before
2019 or 2018, when Joe Budden went on that rant about Eminem. You can look it up on YouTube, when he was talking about, I had to get up and go get it for my damn self because you weren't helping us. So I had to get up and go get it on my own. You weren't helping us. Now, we all know that Dre gave Eminem hand-to-mouth feeding, but Eminem didn't do that for anybody else. He didn't do that for the rappers on his label. He didn't do that for black women. What has Eminem contributed to the culture? And when I say the culture, I'm talking about black people who built this thing. What has Eminem contributed to the founders? What has he contributed? I can show you what he's taken. I can show you what he's grifted. I can show you what he's leached. Show me what Eminem has contributed back to the ecosystem of the black culture that created this. Now, let's compare apples to apples here, and this is a good segue I want to go into. What did MC Search contribute to the culture? Well, everybody knows it. You really can't say nothing about Search. You can say one thing immediately: Nas. You can look at Search and at least see at least one black person who got directly put on because of Search. And I hate to say this, but right now, Rakim, I'm going to segue from Search to Rakim because Rakim had some unkind statements to make about MC Search, but let's just be totally honest right here. Rakim, you have been promoting and defending your own gentrifier. And I'm going to say this one more time because I want to make it very clear where I stand, and I'm not speaking out of turn. Y'all got to watch these old niggas we've been holding them up as icons, and in reality, they're just the old niggas minding the store. Just because you are talented and capable doesn't mean that you're a stand-up guy. It doesn't mean that you're a paragon of virtue. It doesn't mean that you're a profile in character. And Rakim, I just got to say it outright. You got white folk walking up to your ass in your face, nigga, talking about Eminem is the greatest of all time. You had more smoke for Search when he talked about how Leor Cohen had asked him to write a song for you. You got... And the guy who interviewed you took it out of context. He didn't even say it right. Search didn't say he had to write something for you. He said he was asked to by Leor Cohen and that was offered. But regardless, you gave a way more vigorous response to that than you did for the white boy that folk have been saying, we don't need... Rakim's not the greatest of all time, and understand something, that's what the young whites wanted. Young white people, I told y'all, they're playing the race game. Post-racial America, my ass, they're playing the race game. By the very virtue of the fact that you are saying that Eminem got album sales that black rappers couldn't. You're saying that he brought in a bunch of racist white folk who were unwilling to accept rap if there was a black face on it.
Ooh.
So they need you to remove Rakim. That they're only willing to accept rap if you are willing to say that rap has been transformed into a white man's game. Now we'll accept rap music. So we'll accept rap music so long as we don't have to accept the blacks who created it. And Rakim played along. Rakim is playing along now. I am ashamed and sad to say. was him saying, okay, finally I've been acknowledged outside the black society. Rakim was never no big selling artist like that. We saw him as the standard against which all others were measured. But white society pretended your ass didn't exist, dude. God MC, they never treated you like that. So when they actually did acknowledge you, he done bought into it. Now he's giving passes all over the place. Since clearly I need to explain this to you in elementary school terms, what does the world need Rakim for if Eminem is the greatest of all time? What did Rakim do all of that for if we're just going to come along and say that some carpet-bagging interloper is on his level? And let's be very, very clear. Niggas are sitting around saying dumb stuff, talking about, oh, Rakim just meant that Eminem is a good lyricist. He wasn't elevating Eminem like that. It ain't that serious. Go on these white kids' pages. Go on my Twitter page and look at what these white kids are saying. Hosts and right-wing commentators and people on Twitter and everything else were asking about the damn billboard. They were angry as hell. They were wanting to know who the hell's doing this. Somebody has mounted a counteroffensive. Somebody has seized the narrative and is specifically guiding it in a direction that we don't want it going in. But it was too late by that point. It had captured the imaginations and the narrative was set. Somebody sitting up here running their mouths on the internet, that's not going to get that done. Oh yeah, and one more thing, I went in my own pocket and paid for that. You need somebody who's able to move and mobilize immediately. Not some bumming, begging ass nigga sitting on their couch in front of their cell phone, not getting anything done and telling you why they can't get nothing done. Money don't matter. Yeah, that's easy to say when you don't have any. I guess that's the only, you have to surrender. I'm not about that, people. The money does matter. You need people who can get mobilized and move right then. When I saw what needed to be done, I got mobilized and I moved right then. New York City, Brooklyn, I specifically chose that intersection at Nordstrom and Atlantic, I believe it was, where that, right on that corner where that nail salon was, where those Asians that beat the hell out that black woman. I put a big-ass billboard up there. New York is the front line. Race war. Right there at that corner. Everybody saw it. The media saw it. The taxis saw it. Everybody saw that. What do you think prompted people to go up in there on those people and say, we stopping this now? What do you think prompted that? When they started pushing, intelligent black society pushed back. Didn't sit around squealing and mewling about your failure. We pushed back. I gotta tell you, right now, I'm kind of feeling like we need to do the same thing again. And my target now is the Comcast Corporation. And specifically their division, NBC and MSNBC. You know, I'm feeling like we need to do something. You know, I'm feeling like we need to respond. And you know, I'm feeling like if the white media isn't going to say this, they're going to try to make targets out of us, maybe we're going to make some targets out of them. Maybe we're going to start picking some targets of our own. And maybe Allison Morris
will be the main
is a target I feel like picking. Allison Morris, I understand what you did. You saw what happened with Kobe Bryant. You believed that there would be enough division in black society that we would be so divided amongst ourselves that you could say, Los Angeles niggers. You didn't say Kobe Bryant. You didn't say Sambo Bryant. You didn't slip up and say that. You said Los Angeles niggers. This was about race. You thought you were going to be slick about it. Your friends of the corporation let you know, wait, we'll stand behind you.
Fuck off my
Well,
teammate,
I
man.
believe that if they're going to stand behind you, not only should they have to stand behind you, but they should have you as a millstone around their necks. They should have you as a millstone around their necks.
Gonna wear that shit.
They want to hold on to you this bad, then by golly, by damn, they should sit there and hold on to you. And they shouldn't be allowed to let you go. Now, for those of you who have not been to New York City, maybe you just saw it on television, you know, Rockefeller Plaza, that's a big hunk of geography. Where they have the Today Show, that's a big hunk of geography there. And going to do this, if they're gonna be out there and have that, maybe we should drop in on the proceedings too. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe we should have a protest, not a typical protest. I'm thinking we should have a protest during Black History Month. And I'm thinking we should have it right outside the window where the Today Show has their program.
You dirty bitch!
People behind them and stuff.
You dirty bitch.
I'm thinking maybe we should have that. I'm thinking maybe we should have it outside the building. I'm thinking that maybe we need to have one of those rolling billboard trucks with a special message. And that truck should start rolling, I don't know, around 6:30 in the morning and just keep making the block. Because Rockefeller Center is a major tourist attraction. And I'm thinking that maybe we here at the Black Channel could make our own personal contribution to the allure of Rockefeller Center and specifically NBC and MSNBC. Allison Morrison wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a star. I think we should help her become more famous. It's what we ought to do. And I think it should be something that people should not be allowed to miss, no matter where they are. I know a lot of you would support that. I know a lot of you would be keen on that. I'm thinking about going in my own pocket to do that. Let me be very, very clear about this. This is not about Kobe Bryant, people. She wasn't taking a shot at Kobe Bryant. She was taking that at all of us. She was taking that at all of us. And then the corporation that she works for, this same MSNBC that has attacked reparations, that has attacked those of us who have been on the case for promoting reparations now. For a decade, they called us bots. They called us Russians. They attacked us. They said we weren't real. They said we were a problem. The same MSNBC that did that brings you Allison Morris and the Los Angeles Niggers.
Thank you.
I want you to understand, this isn't a minor thing. This is not a little thing. And if we remain silent on this and there's no pushback of any kind, then just understand that happens at our peril. Because that will embolden them. You know how it is when you deal with a bully. When they push you and they hit you and they're allowed to get away with it, that doesn't stop them from doing it. They don't get tired of it. It emboldens them to get worse. And right now, if we do nothing, we are emboldening them to get worse. I'm saying it's time to stop it. Or at least to show them, you push us, we're gonna drop kick you. You slap us, we're gonna body slam you. Let's be very clear about this. You touch us, we're gonna escalate on you. But let's be very clear about the terrain in which you find yourselves. You are gonna keep your hands off of us, and you're gonna keep our names out of your mouths. You don't have the right to speak on any of us in a negative way. None whatsoever. You have no place, no right to do that. You don't. White people are 65, 69% of the population, and you all don't sit up here and make them your daily damn targets every day. Somehow you're able to host a news program in the evening news without talking about what white folk are doing. Well, you're going to have the same policy with us. You're going to keep our names out of your mouths. That's what you're going to do. You're going to keep our names out of your mouths. And right now, and I'm not saying definitively that this is it, but I am telling you all right now, I'm very much thinking about going in that direction. Very much thinking about going in the direction of putting up something that cannot be missed. I'm very much thinking about going in the direction of putting up something right there next to NBC, so we can let them know you did not talk about the issue. That's perfectly fine. We will make you famous now. You're gonna be having to come up with all types of new camera angles to avoid what we gonna do. We're thinking about making you famous now. So like I say, as I stroke the Ayatollah beard, and as I think over the subject here, I just have to wonder to myself, it might be time to make another example. Because I want you all to understand, this to me is a watershed moment. Do you realize what this means if Allison Morris is allowed to say the Los Angeles niggers and is allowed to stay on television where she is? Do you understand that sets a precedent? If you think that what she said was a misunderstanding, then explain to me why even the right-wingers at Fox were defending her. If this was just a misunderstanding. If it was a misunderstanding, why didn't they pounce on her? White society is on code. If this was a misunderstanding, why are they all on code? If this isn't really white supremacy, why is white society circling the wagons? If this was really a misunderstanding, why aren't they saying we need more information, we need to know more? Why aren't they saying that little mantra they usually trot out? They're not saying it because that's not what it is. It's not a misunderstanding. We know exactly what this is. We know exactly what it is. And as black people, if we continue to allow people to do this, that's bad. It'll be bad for us, bad for the future. Kamala Harris's history in California, when she tried to go to the masses, the black media was there to stop her like a brick wall. The types like Allison Morris, that's going to demand something different. You have a corporation willing to stand behind her. And that's just going to be the first one. What are you going to say when the next ones happen? People, they're trying to normalize attacking us openly in the media. Do you understand that? The third and fourth steps to Nazi Germany. Now they're going, it used to be low-key. It used to be more subtle. It used to be more nuanced. Now they're just coming out with it. How many of your white Lakers fans were upset with Allison Morris for saying the Los Angeles niggers? If you believe that this was a misunderstanding, where are your white Lakers fans to be upset about this? Where are your white sports commentators to be upset about this? They're all on the same page, on the same tune. Nobody thinks she meant to say what she clearly said. Nobody thinks that. We've got 100% agreement. People, is that even mathematically possible? Is that even mathematically possible? Is it even mathematically possible that 100% of them could be in agreement? That defies the laws of physics and mathematics. What is the probability that all of them are in complete agreement if they are all being objective? Nobody agrees with us at all? No one? No one in the dominant society agrees that they heard what we heard? And then say the thing, well, and even if you heard that, we don't think she meant it. We think she meant to say. So there's a lot of folk who are not even denying that she said it. They're saying that, well, she meant to say. People, this wasn't even a story about the damn Knicks.
Thank you.
How is it that they're all in complete agreement about this. That is because they all completely agree you are the enemy, even if you don't see yourself that way. They do. And they understood that she was softening up the underbelly. She was putting it out there. So the next time it happens, here we go again. Please understand, this is like law, people. If she's allowed to get away with this, you set a precedent. You set a precedent now. And what I'm telling you is you're going to see more creative, quote, stumbles happen all over the place. You're going to be hearing Sambo, Monkey, Ape, and a bunch of things that used to get people fired, and now it won't. Power concedes nothing without a demand. Never has, and it never will. Please understand, if we don't make a demand, if we don't make it clear that we've got power to bear, they're going to escalate. They're already cheering on Jim Crow Joe Biden. They already got Bernie the Bigot out there. We as black people need to make it clear. Understand, they're not going to take their hands off of us unless we show them that we're going to enforce a no-hands policy. You're going to keep our names out of your mouths. If you don't, we can make things uncomfortable. So, I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go that route. I haven't decided yet how to go about that route. Haven't said that just yet, but I'm just letting you all know. I've kind of been contemplating it and thinking it over. I've been mulling it over. Maybe at some point, all these forces have been pushing against us. Maybe at some point in the near future, this being Black History Month, maybe we've decided to make a little history out of them. Who knows? Why don't you let me know what you all think? If you're new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. We have over 88,000 subscribers and rising. This is not a little thing. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. They fear us, and they fear us with good reason. If you have not clicked the subscribe button, click that button and join us. Then click the notification bell so you can be notified when we're broadcasting, at least some of the time, because YouTube does interfere with that. If you've been a subscriber before, please check your subscription status. Make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube keeps unsubscribing people, but don't let that deter you. We've got the bad guys on the run. We've got them scared. Let's keep them that way. If you want to see more of our work, you can go to our website, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. Check out our documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Ethnic Cleansing American Style. Our newest documentary, Race War. All available on sale on Amazon, all available for streaming. You can check them out now. Call two friends, call two enemies, call a coon, call a white supremacist. And this Black History Month, get them the gift of black empowerment. blackchannelfilms.com. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio program. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising. Level. And let's be very, very clear. Niggas are sitting around saying dumb stuff, talking about, oh, Rakim just meant the Eminem is a good lyricist. He wasn't elevating Eminem like that. It ain't that serious. Go on these white kids' pages. Go on my Twitter page and look at what these white kids are saying. Rakim, well, you talking about you're colorblind. Well, guess what, dummy? The folk promoting Eminem and saying, the white folk are saying, oh, look, Rakim says this about Eminem. They're not colorblind. They are using your statements to delegitimize you as the greatest of all time. On these white kids' pages, they're saying that Eminem is the greatest ever. Just that quickly, all you colorblind niggas got shown for the idiots you are. These white white kids are saying Eminem is the greatest ever. Just that quickly, they said, yeah, boot Rakim's ass out of here. We know you black folks say that, but we are colonizing this music, and when it's over, the world will believe that we created it. Why do you think it's so necessary for them to keep saying rap? I mean, it's the year 2019. We're talking about 30 years. 30 years since NWA. 40 years since Africa Bambaataa and the Sugar Hill Gang and all that. We're talking 40 years later. 30 years since NWA and all the platinum albums that they had. And of course, 35 or 36 since LL Cool J was going platinum. And of course, Run DMC. So Run DMC, LL Cool J, all of this was back in the early 80s. Going platinum in the early 80s. And you got white kids today and a bunch of Negroes talking about rap music wasn't really big until 20 years later and Marshall Mathers. They're telling y'all that Death Row and Ruthless Records and MC Hammer and the DOC and DJ Quick and Too Short, all of that didn't matter. Tone Loc and Young MC, all of that didn't matter. None of that was relevant. It wasn't until one of our people, Marshall Mathers, it wasn't until he showed up that rap music became big. People, I remember back in the early 90s when they were talking on CBS Evening News and they were lamenting that rap music was outselling everything, including country music, and some dumbass jumped on my Twitter page talking about it wasn't until Eminem that rap music was outselling country music and everything else. So what this tells you is that individuals like Ebro have miseducated the masses. And then you have to ask, what's his motive? But hell, he's got Rakim providing cover for him. Rakim has willfully sacrificed his own legacy. People, you can't allow carpetbaggers or infiltrators in the door to any degree. The moment you give him a legitimate seat at the table, he's going to start saying that this is his house. Lord Jamar was quite right. White people are guests in the house of hip-hop, and quite frankly, they've started to turn into invaders, home invaders in the house of hip-hop. Because we gave them a seat at the table, we gave them a placemat. Here are the rules. You must use a coaster. You must use a placemat. You have to eat with utensils. I know y'all like to eat with your fingers. You must eat with utensils. First and foremost, you must wash your hands. This is a new skill for you. We understand. You must first wash your hands. You can't sit at the table with your grubby little fingers and eating off your fingers and stuff like the dogs. You must wash your hands. You must use a clean utensil. You must drink out of these glasses. You must use a placemat. You must use a coaster. It's not polite to belch at the table. You certainly shouldn't have food falling from your mouth like Cookie Monster, but in case you do, here's a napkin that you use. No, they didn't come up in here. They're drinking straight out of the jug. They're drinking straight out of the pitcher. They're drinking straight, holding their mouths up under the faucet, not washing their hands. They're grabbing, not using any utensils, and if they do, they're getting the dirty ones alike. And Rakim is talking about, yeah, that's legit. Yeah, that's legit. When you are a guest, you abide by rules.
Man.
There are rules you must follow as a condition of your presence here. That this is something that black people built. Let me say this to you in terms that apparently Allah MC didn't know and doesn't know, and Ebro doesn't know. The cultural institutions that we have built as black people, they are and should be run and operated and conducted like a church. You don't get to just walk up into somebody's church any old kind of way.
Oh no.
You don't get to sit up in church and do what you want to do. You must adhere to the rules of the institution. When you go to these white folks' Ivy League schools, you don't get to just walk up in there the way you want to. They got niggas cutting their damn hair now as a condition to go to these people's schools. You are a guest. And as a guest, in the first condition is there are rules you will be required to adhere to. But black folk are so damn desperate to get acknowledgement and acceptance by the dominant society that the first tool that we start trying to whore out is our cultural legacy. Y'all talking about Kobe Bryant's Mexican wife and it not being left to a black woman. Meanwhile, you got rappers married to black women telling y'all that, oh, by the way, this entire music genre doesn't belong to black people. Folks, how long do you think you're going to be able to sell music with black folk on it if you keep telling them that Eminem is the standard? How long you think you're going to be able to do that? Do you think that Eminem has black people's best interests at heart? If Eminem is the standard bearer, how long you going to be able to make superstars out of black people? They're already bringing over all these immigrants and all these children of immigrants, Kodak Black, Cardi B, and so on and so forth. Individuals who have nothing but absolute disgust and disdain for black people. These are black folk, I mean in Cardi B's case, you get my point. Nicki Minaj, so on and so forth. You got black folk, these immigrants and children of immigrants who have nothing but rancor and venom for black people. And then got Rakim,
to go hang himself.
which I've always kind of questioned that nose on him, but I won't go there.
Isn't it also romantic?
I won't go all the way there. But by the way, I always kind of question that nose on him. Be that as it may, Rakim is sitting up here endorsing it. So if in 10 years they're not mentioning his name anywhere, who the hell is he going to have to blame for it? He gave people, you don't invite white people in without whitewashing. They don't want to preserve rap music. They want to take rap music. They don't want to preserve it. They want to hijack it and seize it. And I got a bunch of niggas sitting around me who are more concerned about, well, if, we hold on to it, and we can just keep them. They desperate for black street cred. They love black people. We still have a bunch of ignorant ass niggas today talking about these people love black folk. They don't love black people. They love rap music. Now they just want to know how they can divorce you from it so that they can own it. They don't love black music. They don't love black people. They love black music. They don't love the people who created black music. They love black food. They don't love the people who created black food. They love black athletes, black entertainers, black dancers. They don't love the black people who created it. And a bunch of black folk are willfully ignorant of this because you're so desperate to get them to acknowledge you. We don't need a damn thing from them. We don't need nothing except the reparations that they owe. It ain't about what we can give them. It's about what they gonna give us. Which is why I asked the question, what have we gained by all of this shameless this Rakim's spineless, brainless promotion of Emmett Marshall Mathers. What have we gained as a result of that?
Nothing.
What do black people have to show for it? Some moron tried to say higher record sales. Black people ain't selling no more records today because of Eminem's presence. He didn't spread the field and increase record sales for us. He increased them for himself. But we already knew that was the case. White people have a racial code. The very same song that they wouldn't buy from your black ass, put a white person in front of it, all of a sudden they're doing their little old flicked ass, broke hip, diddy bop dance. All of a sudden it becomes that. The same song that they told you was, remember back in the 80s and 90s from our folks who are old enough, because we have to remember now, from the year 2000, half a decade after Tupac and Biggie were killed, do you all realize there are a bunch of grown people today, 20-year-olds today, who were not even alive when Tupac and Biggie got killed? They weren't even alive when Trey had left to go to Aftermath. They weren't even alive then. So they have zero knowledge about NWA and the DOC and Rob Bass, Easy Rock, and Sir Mix-a-Lot. When I heard the damn white media talking about Mix-a-Lot was one hit wonder, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? No, you only knew of one song by Sir Mix-a-Lot. You only acknowledged one. His people know better. And this is why it is dangerous to put our legacy in white society's hands. You put it in their hands, first they're going to minimize it, and then next they're going to erase it. If they get control of your legacy, first they minimize you. Rap wasn't that big. It was still just house music. Yeah, there were a couple of minor hits, but all of those people were one-hit wonders. But what about Tupac, NWA, Ruthless Records, Ice Cube? Yeah. I mean, those were just flukes. You do realize that's what they're saying, right? They're saying that Marshall Mathers is the only consistent hit in rap music. That's what these white folk are saying. Don't believe me, go on Twitter. Go on my Twitter post, they're saying that. That rap music wasn't big before Marshall Mathers. They're literally saying that. I retweeted some of them. One jackass talking about Marshall Mathers, we didn't have rap playing in arenas before Marshall Mathers. It's sitting there on my Twitter page. I'm not making this up. If you allow them an inch, they gonna take your ass. And at his age, at the age that Rakim is at right now, he shouldn't have to be told this, but he does. And the only thing I can really assume is that he's just an old broken nigga. I mean, can we just say it like it is? These old niggas, the older they got, man, they ain't got no fight left in them. Nigga don't be talking big to search. Ain't nothing left in you, man. Between the child support and stuff, no, I ain't going in on you, but let's say it like it is, dude. You were struggling to pay child support. You know why? Because the white boys that y'all allowed into the game took all the damn money that you should have been getting or that you could have been getting if you had stood strong. If you want to know where your child support money went, Rakim, go ask Eminem. Go ask Scott Storch. Go ask Belly. Go ask all them white boys that y'all sitting up here big upping and bragging on all the damn time. Go ask Machine Gun Kelly. Go ask them. Go ask them where your residuals came from. When they go into these movies and they play like these songs in these movies that they consider iconic, everything that Rakim has done should be iconic, but it isn't. So the movie companies, nobody is licensing his music for major movies, major television shows. It's not one of those jingles that is circulated in the American consciousness and lexicon because they brought in these white boys to make sure their stuff is circulated. Follow the leader. That's a song that begs to be licensed for millions of dollars. You can't get it. Rakim still has to do concerts and small shows because you let the carpetbaggers in, and when you legitimize them, you gave the dominant society permission to overlook you. And now that you legitimize them, the dominant society said, see, we ain't did no harm. How are you going to say it? Even he says that Eminem is great. And I say Eminem isn't just great, he's the greatest of all time. Even Rakim says he's legitimate. That was the price you pay for legitimizing Eminem, Rakim. Dre got $1 billion. What did you get for legitimizing him? Other dumb niggas will talk about, well, he increased sales because of crossover. First of all, jackass, you clearly don't know the definition of the word crossover. You can't claim that this person is a genuine holder of the culture and then say he did it by way of crossing it over. By definition, to cross something over means that you have transported it from where it used to be to some foreign location. You can't claim that rap is still legitimate and genuine when you have specifically given it to someone for the express purposes of crossing it over into something else, into somewhere else. Black folk, we don't need to cross over our cultural institutions or accomplishments to no damn where. Those people need to be coming to us. We don't need to go anywhere. They need to come to us. This is why we need to build up our own neighborhoods and build up our own business districts. Have the white folk come to us. Have them come and do business on our side of town so that they increase our property values. Instead, we go over to their side of town where you become the black speck in the middle of a white enterprise zone. And all you really do is help to, even if you don't give your direct profits to them, you're helping to uphold their values, their property values, their business value. You're upholding theirs. We need to have people coming to us. In anime, Japanese culture is very good about this. They don't give up a damn thing. You have never seen a Japanese movie where they hold up a black person as a superior martial artist, even though we all know that the greatest fighters in the world have, since the very beginning, have all been black men. All. A-L-L, all. Every single one, including the progenitor of Asian so-called martial arts itself. All of them. A-L-L, all. Every single one. The only time that there was not a black champion is when white folk banned black folk from being able to fight. But when you turn on your Asian movies, they don't present black men as the best of the best. Not Michael Jai White. Hell, what was that? That Ip Man movie, I think it was, with Donnie Yen and Mike Tyson. You got Mike Tyson in the damn movie fighting Donnie Yen. He's like the boss of this warehouse or something. But the fight is inconclusive. Just out of nowhere, Tyson's trying to knock him out and every damn thing else. And then just out of nowhere, Tyson suddenly stops fighting. So the Chinese, they were willing to acknowledge Mike Tyson's presence, but they were not about to sit up here and show Mike Tyson beating the brakes off of Donnie Yen and conclusively beating him, even though Donnie Yen is an actor, he's a fine kung fu martial artist, he's fine at that stuff what they do for movies, but Mike's the real deal. But they were not, it would just absolutely be ridiculous to to show Donnie Yen beating Mike Tyson, so they couldn't do that. So the best they did was just make it inconclusive. Oh, Tyson just stopped fighting. This is how far these people are willing to go. They are not going to hand over their cultural legacy to outsiders. They're not going to do it. They're not. And it's a shame that we have so many ass-kissing, inferiority complex burden Negroes who are eager to hand over their legacy. When you can't get the residuals in a few years here because nobody's really selling you stuff like that, you still got to do shows and still got to tour to keep the money coming in while these white boys are eating off of residuals, is because you invited them in, which gave them permission to remove you. You thought, Rakim and friends thought they were inviting in a partnership. No, you were inviting in a dictatorship. And another thing, the miseducation of the music business continues to record sales. People, when NWA sold 2 million albums in the first week, those were 2 million legitimate album sales. You didn't have any of this, 100 streams counts as one song sold. You didn't have any of that crap. You actually had to sell an album for the album sale to count. Eminem has never had to do that. Ebro. Eminem has never had to do that. Rakim, you had to do it. And if you had ever, brothers and sisters, could you imagine what Elvis Presley's estate would have said? If Michael Jackson, oh yeah, I'm going there. If Michael Jackson had said, well, I actually sold 400 million copies because if you count streams and how many times the video Thriller was watched and how many times that Billie Jean was watched, well, every 100 times counts as a sale. So if you count that, then yeah, I sold like 400 million copies. Do you think white society ever would have stood for that? Do you think they ever would have even allowed that metric to come into the discussion? They need to have these phony-ass metrics and these phony-ass rules made up because they can't compete otherwise. On a level playing field, they lose. So they always got to have phony rules tossed in to make sure they win. But if Rakim had said, well, if you count video views and whatnot, I sold a few million. Eminem's people, if Rakim ever tries that, Eminem's people will be very quick to put him back in his place. But even more important than that, people, this is our cultural legacy. Rakim, you have no damn right to give away our children's cultural legacy because you feel deficient. This is their inheritance. This is what we built for them, specifically to be handed down to them. Not so other outsiders can come in and make sure that your children can't eat off of what you built. I have always been a defender of gangster rap. Oh, man, listen to the ham-headed niggas out there. I have always defended gangster rap. Even though I have not been in love with the genre, the messages, or the effects of it in a lot of ways, I have always defended it because, like it or not, that's part of our cultural legacy as well. And take a look at what Ice Cube has done with it. You wouldn't have the Big Three and those Friday movies and the things he's done with it. By the way, unlike Tyler Perry, you can name other black folk who got made megastars because they were in the Friday movies. You can't name anybody that Tyler Perry made a star of. You know folk who got made because of being around Ice Cube. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that. all those black men who were in the NWA biopic movie, how many of them are major stars today? Years later, how many of them are headlining a movie today? A major film today? How many of them got put on because of that? When you let other people run the show, they're going to make sure you don't go anywhere. You're not going to be eclipsing them if they have anything to say about it. And I'm saying, damn it, we need to play by the same damn rules. Period. Our children keep inheriting generational poverty because the elders and the old men keep endorsing giving every damn thing away. That's why we have even our intellectual property, which doesn't require huge amounts of capital. It doesn't require land. People, we aren't even exercising the will to retain our intellectual property. What the hell makes you think you're going to be able to retain physical real estate property, and you have expressed that you don't even have the will to retain your intellectual property? On what basis are you making those statements? This belongs to us. In Jewish society, they don't open a lane for us. In white society, they don't open a lane for us. There are no country musicians who have embraced any black country music act ever. That includes Ray Charles. For those of you who don't remember, because you're too young to know, Ray Charles had the country music album. White folk never embraced that. Charlie Pride. You can say Charlie Pride's name all you damn well want to. There are zero, not Kenny Chesney. No, none of these white folk are saying that Charlie Pride was an inspiration to them. None of them cite him as one of the greats. They don't have the Charlie Pride Award at the Country Music Awards. They don't do that. CM Punk brought back in living colors a cult of personality, but you don't see the rock music stations acknowledging that. But black folk do. Black folks sit up here, a white person walks in the room, here we start jigabooning. But then again, when your elders at the radio station like Ebro are sitting up here carrying the water and kissing the ass cheeks of the very people that we were building walls to keep out, because we are protecting this genre, then no wonder the damn kids are so confused and saying outright coonish stuff. So when they walk out there and can't figure out why it is that they've been working their asses off to put out an album and can't make no traction, they're not going to be able to connect the dots, because they're playing the game of, well, Ebro said that color don't matter. People, color does matter. The very white kids telling you that color don't matter, they're going back to their Twitter pages and saying, oh yeah, by the way, Eminem's the greatest of all time because he's white. It really took a white guy to make rap music hot. It really took a white guy to make rap music big. But wait a minute, we were selling just as many and more albums before you came along. No, that doesn't matter here. We're not listening. No, it took a white guy to make rap music legit. It took him to do it. Now, they don't invite us into anything that they do and say that and declare to the world it wasn't legit before we showed up.
I'm afraid my mind's made up.
Mrs. Leclerc.
You still see white folk talking about damn me, Bill Russell and Larry Bird. Larry Bird became a footnote in history after Dr. J and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan hit their stride. He became a footnote history. You can't compare what the NBA was before black men took it off to what it became just 10 years later. You can't compare those two. And it didn't take 20, 30 damn years for them to do it. It didn't matter a few years. But you don't see white folk lined up to declare that without these black men, this don't work. They still keep retaining big paychecks for white boys. They keep changing the rules to allow the white boys to be able to compete. Even if it's at a low level. They keep changing the rules. And all of you who watch basketball, because I don't watch that closely, but if I'm lying, you call me out in the comments section about whether or not they call more fouls now and every damn thing else to stuff they wasn't doing 10 years ago, because basically the white boys were in danger of going extinct. So basically you got to make it pity-pat ball and basically make it mandatory to give him the damn ball simply so they can have a presence in the league. Simply so they can have a presence there. Your league is 80-90% black male, but the executive management is all white. Now I'm talking about Adam Silver, the people who make the overall rules of the league. Shouldn't you have a black commissioner? But you don't. Now you name for me any area of white society where 90% of the employees are white, but the leadership is all black. They would never allow you to do that. It don't matter how good you are. They would never allow that. So you have a bunch of brainwashed, whitewashed, plantation-minded, broken, Rakim, old and broken. A bunch of broken old men who are telling the young people basically they surrender. These old niggas have surrendered. They're hoping that Eminem invites them on their album for a feature. That's how broken they are. And they're encouraging the young folk to follow their lead. Don't tell me about Kendrick Lamar or nothing else. Kendrick's a young man. He's looking at what these old niggas done did, and he's like, well, hell, it don't get no more legit than Rakim. It don't get no more legit than Dre. Remember at the end of the NWA movie, Kendrick Lamar was talking to Dre and Q about how he watched him when he was a kid, and all he wanted to be like was NWA. That was the mold, that was the template, that was the model. And so if you see Dre endorsing Eminem, well, what you gonna do if you're young Kendrick Lamar? These are the old dudes. These are the guys with the status and the credentials. What you gonna do? These young dudes done fell off because the old niggas have abandoned them. That's what it is. Now, I'm telling you that we have no right whatsoever to destroy our children's inheritance. Rakim, your treasonous words, and I'm going to call it what it is, by you refusing to hold the hard line, you have just signed the death warrant for our children's ability to inherit our cultural legacy. You signed the death warrant. Well, what you supposed to say about Eminem? You supposed to say he's alright. He's okay. You know, for a rhymer, he's alright. And then move the subject on. You start talking about young cats, Big Crit. You start talking about them. You start teaching about them. You can't go into a white arena and white folk allow it to be a forum to promote black people. Not even your own damn Black Entertainment Television Awards. Yeah, they just gave that old worn-out ass white girl, JoJo, they gave her an R&B Song of the Year or whatever. They brought her ass out of mothballs because they're like, hell, the winds are back. People, as the white population continues to drop towards 60%, you're not going to see them increasing the number of black folk you watch, because you didn't have a lot of us before. They're not going to increase the number of black folk you see. They're actually decreasing the number, specifically for the purposes of capturing the future. So in your minds, you understood why the majority of the awards were given to white folk. Well, they were 90% of the population. They were 80% of the population. Well, they were 70% of the population. Now they're on their way to 60% of the population. By the time they're 40% of the population, they'll still be getting the majority of the awards. Like South Africa, they'll still be getting the majority of the awards. They'll be getting the majority of the airplay. They'll be getting the majority of the licensing and the residual deals. They'll be getting the majority of the mechanicals, and you'll be sitting there with your damn lip poked out. But go ahead and look at Ebro today. The seeds of your disinheritance were planted today and a decade, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, by Andre Young. So he could get a bag for himself at the expense of everybody else. People, Kobe Bryant's Mexican wife is going to have to pass down his wealth to his black children. You still got a chance to recover that. You ain't never gonna recover the money that Marshall Mathers took off the table. That money is gone. And the intellectual and cultural capital that left with it is gone. That's gone. Making him the standard bearer, some nigga wants to say that, which is ridiculous, but even you're saying that. Once you say, y'all are telling yourselves, well, there's going to be a seat at the table for you. If I endorse Marshall Mathers, number one, that'll open up some white girls who love slumming for some black sex. And number two, that opens up a lane for me. People, there is no cultural reciprocity. How the damn long niggas got to hear this? Y'all are chasing acknowledgement and cultural reciprocity. They're never going to reciprocate. They're never going to make a lane for you. They're never going to tell you how great you are. They're never going to open up a damn thing for you. They've never done it and they never will. But I got niggas acting like they're going to do it. Some of you have just given up to the point that you don't even want to build anything for yourselves. So you have no problem selling out the children. You ain't building a damn thing. So yeah, so what? So what if the kids get nothing? I got nothing, I've done nothing, I've built nothing. Damn sure ain't passed nothing on. Yeah, I'll go for that. I'll go for that. People, Marshall Mathers did not work 5 times harder for a damn thing. As a matter of fact, being white was a plus for him. Being white was what it always is. It was an advantage. If a white boy walks on the stage in a black club, all eyes are on him. He can sit up here and say 2 corny-ass, elementary-ass lines. If he doesn't vomit all over himself, he's going to get more credit because as far as people are concerned, he's overperforming because we actually expected you to trip over your damn shoelaces on your way walking up the stairs. So if you don't sit up here and completely defecate on yourself, as far as we're concerned, you're doing great.
I guess I imagine he was your brother. No.
Now, if a black person did the exact same thing, we wouldn't give him the same level of respect. Nigga, we expect that from you, from the white boy. Ooh, he's zaddy. He's white chocolate.
Put you up to it.
Can somebody name for me the area in white society where a black man is referred to with that type of affectionate terminology or term of endearment? Tell me the white equivalent of white chocolate for a black man.
Thank you. We shall be in touch.
Show me the mocha vanilla that white people bestow on a black person. It don't matter how good you are at sports. It doesn't. People, if you went into hockey, they would chase your black ass out the arena and be calling you nigga the whole time. We know because there is a black hockey player, and that's all they do with him. That's all they do. Lewis Hamilton is the best. lines. Nobody is celebrating it. Nobody's giving introspections. Nobody's giving him the Lance Armstrong treatment. And you want me to turn to young black kids and encourage them to keep up this ass-kissing, butt-dancing bullcrap? Nigga, you can go to hell. Just because you're selling out everybody don't mean I'm gonna do it. If those are the rules they playing by, I'm going by Dr. John Henry Clark's playbook. I am going to extend to these people no more courtesy than the extent to which they extended to me. If you give me the ability to make $100 million, then I will extend to you that ability. But if you're going to give preferential treatment, then I am going to maintain preferential treatment. I'll be damned if I give you 80% access and you give me 2% access, and we're talking about brotherhood, humanity. You can get the hell on with that mess if